Something is wrong with your sense of time. Not the world's time, yours. You're 26, and somehow you feel like you've already used up more life than you've actually lived. Your friends post beach photos and job promotions, and you're sitting there thinking, I don't even remember the last time I felt light. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't about being tired. This is about your internal clock running on a completely different schedule than your birth certificate. And the real reason for it isn't what you think. It's not that adulthood wore you down. It's that something ended too early, before you even had the words to notice it happening. Stick with me, because I'm going to show you exactly what that something is, what's actually happening inside your brain and body because of it, and more importantly, what to do about it. Let's start with Riley. 24 years old, from a regular suburb outside Denver. Normal job at a marketing firm, normal apartment with a roommate, friends who send her memes at midnight. But most nights, she lies awake with this exhaustion she can't explain. Not physical, something older than her actual age. There's no single tragedy in her story, no one event she can point to. Just years of being the responsible one, the fixer, the person who held things together while nobody checked if she was okay. Here's the first thing most people get wrong about this feeling. They assume it's just personality. Some people are old souls, right? Wrong. This isn't a personality trait. It's a nervous system that got recruited into adult-level responsibility before it was built for it. Here's the actual mechanism. When a child is regularly put in situations where they have to manage adult emotions, adult stress, adult responsibility, their stress response system doesn't wait for adulthood to mature. It accelerates. Researchers who study this call it adultification or emotional parentification. And what they've found is that kids in these roles often show cortisol patterns and hypervigilance more typical of adults under chronic stress. Their body learned to stay switched on, scanning for problems, way before it should have had to. So when you feel like you're 40 in a 26-year-old body, you're not imagining it. Part of your nervous system genuinely operates on a more worn timeline. That's not poetic, that's biological. Back to Riley for a second. When she was 9, her parents split up, and her mom worked 2 jobs to keep the house. Riley wasn't abused. Nobody yelled at her to grow up. She just quietly became the one who made sure her little brother ate dinner, got his homework done, went to bed on time. Nobody assigned her that job. She just noticed nobody else was doing it and stepped in. That's the part people miss. You don't need a dramatic story for this to happen to you. Sometimes, all it takes is a house that needed one more responsible person in it, and you happen to be the one available. Now here's discovery number 2, and this one might explain something you've never had words for. Have you ever noticed that rest feels uncomfortable? Not relaxing. Uncomfortable, like you're doing something wrong. That's not laziness guilt. That's a learned survival rule. If you grew up needing to stay alert to keep things from falling apart, your brain quietly wrote a rule. Rest equals danger, because the moment you looked away was the moment something bad could happen. So even now, decades later, your body treats stillness as a risk instead of a comfort. This is why some people can collapse on a couch, guilt-free, and you can't sit still for 10 minutes without your brain listing everything you should be doing instead. It's not a character flaw, it's an old alarm system that never got the memo that the emergency ended. Riley describes it like this. On vacation, actual vacation, paid for, planned for months, she'll catch herself checking her phone every 10 minutes, convinced something needs her. Nothing does, but her body doesn't believe that yet. Here's discovery 3. This one's about relationships, and it might sting a little. People who grew up early often become incredible partners on paper. Attentive, low maintenance, always understanding, always accommodating. And then, quietly, resentment builds, because they're doing in their relationships exactly what they did as kids, managing everyone else's needs while their own go unspoken. Riley's last relationship ended because her boyfriend said, almost confused, "I never know what you actually need because you never ask for anything." That wasn't a compliment. It was him noticing that she'd been performing fine for 2 years straight. If you're the one in your friend group who never asks for help, who says, "I'm easy, whatever works, every single time," who feels a flash of anxiety when someone asks, "What do you need?" that's not low maintenance. That's a habit built in a house where asking for things felt unsafe or unavailable, and it followed you into every relationship since. Here's Discovery 4, and this is the one that actually reframes everything. We tend to assume the problem is that adulthood has been hard on you, that the years wore you down, but that's backwards. The real reason you feel old isn't that adulthood aged you. It's that your childhood ended before it was supposed to. You skipped a phase you were owed. And a mind that skips a developmental phase doesn't just move on cleanly. It carries an unfinished piece forward, still trying to complete itself, even while the rest of you keeps growing older on schedule. That's the actual twist. You're not prematurely old. You're missing a chapter that never got written, and your nervous system has been quietly trying to go back and finish it ever since, in the middle of your adult life, at the worst possible times. That explains things that never made sense before. Why a stable, successful adult can suddenly feel like a scared kid during conflict. Why some people crave being taken care of in relationships almost desperately, then panic and pull away the second they get it because it feels unfamiliar. Why growing up too fast doesn't make someone more mature. It just makes them tired in a way maturity was never supposed to feel. Think about the people you know. The friend who seems soul-tired even doing nothing. The coworker who apologizes for existing. The one who holds everyone together during every crisis but has no one to call when they're the one falling apart. That's not who they are. That's what happened to them. If any of this is landing, tell me in the comments what age you think you actually had to start growing up. Not your real age, the age you had to start acting like an adult. I want to see the range of answers, because I think it'll surprise you how young it usually is. Now, here's where I want to actually give you something useful, not just something that makes you feel understood. First, name the rule. If rest feels wrong to you, say it out loud. Literally. Resting is not dangerous. The emergency that trained me is over. That sounds simple, almost silly, but naming an old survival rule is the first step to retraining it. Your nervous system responds to repetition, not logic. One sentence won't fix it. Saying it every time you catch yourself feeling guilty for resting over weeks actually does. Second, practice being cared for in small doses. Not a dramatic overhaul, something small. Let a friend choose the restaurant. Let someone help you carry something. Say yes when someone offers, instead of your automatic, "I've got it." If parentification taught you to be the one who gives care, healing starts by tolerating small amounts of receiving it without feeling like you owe something back. Third, practice naming one actual need out loud once a week to someone safe. It doesn't have to be big. "I'm actually pretty stressed today," counts. "Can you help me with this?" counts. Riley started doing this with her roommate. Small things, nothing dramatic, and she said the first few times felt genuinely terrifying, like she was breaking a rule she didn't know she'd made. That feeling is normal. It fades with repetition, not with waiting for it to feel natural first. Fourth, separate your competence from your exhaustion. You can be capable and still be depleted. Those aren't contradictions. A lot of people who grew up early attach their whole identity to being the reliable one, which means resting feels like losing themselves. It isn't. Reliability was a role you learned. It was never the whole of who you are. Riley told me months into therapy that the moment things actually shifted wasn't some big breakthrough. It was small. Her brother called to vent about something, and instead of immediately fixing it like she always had, she just said, "That sounds really hard," and let it sit there. No solution. No taking it on as her job. Just presence. And nothing bad happened. The world didn't fall apart because she didn't fix it. That's the whole thing, honestly. Learning that stepping back doesn't cause the collapse you were trained to expect. None of this erases what happened. It doesn't need to. The goal was never to become a different person. The goal is to stop treating an old survival skill like a life sentence. You are not broken, and you're not actually old. You're a nervous system that had to specialize in survival before it got to specialize in childhood. That's not a flaw in you. It's evidence of how much you were carrying and how well you carried it, with no instructions and often no help. The weight was real, but it was never meant to be permanent. If this explained something you've never been able to put into words, subscribe. Because there's more of this coming. Real psychology explained the way it actually feels, not the way it sounds in a textbook. And if you know someone who's always the strong one, the one who never rests, send them this. It might be the first time someone tells them the truth instead of just telling them they're fine. You've carried enough already. Let this be the part where you finally put some of it down.